Who are the craftsmen or women of today? How many of you today can use a saw or do some welding or fix your own car? While in middle school, I was able to attend classes that is actually a mandatory class for us that taught us electronics, wood shop, metal fabrication, automotive, crafting techniques, cutting glass, doing foundry work. There was many aspects that they taught us, sheet metal fabrication. These are all skills that were used later on in life for many of us that took those courses. It's something that allowed me, it's something that craftsmanship in American is part of American heritage. Many young adults were once offered these classes like I was and taught the skills to become a craftsman while in school. But due to budgetary reasons, lack of interest in the school programs, these courses have now been dropped. But these skills are needed in our schools today. These skills I've just spoken about have allowed me to make a living in the automotive industry, make some extra money selling objects that I make at crafts fairs, and make repairs at home that have saved me tremendous amounts of money, remodeling kitchens, fixing the roof, doing plumbing work. All these items were once taught in school, but they're not any longer. I worry about today's youth and the opportunities they're missing by not being taught these skills. The fundamental skills of life are not being taught in schools today. You have to learn about these skills. You have to learn about these skills in trade colleges or find a course somewhere that you can take to learn these skill sets. Adam Garyfinkel wrote for the Journal of National Affairs. I'm going to read this to you because I don't want to mess it up. A part of a New Pioneer Act. Too many of our people have forgotten how to work with their hands, losing skills that nurture the mind and soul alike, that produce more than the social sum of their parts when joined in a democratic community as a craftsmen, artisans, and their families. That's a very pertinent point there, because he's pointing out the fact that we've lost the ability to work with our hands. But the reason these things are not being taught in school is because of budgetary cuts. And it's the fault of the government cuts that has caused the erosion of society today. In 2010, 1 million students didn't graduate from high school. 1 million students. The lost life earnings, wages, tax, and work productivity for the class of dropouts alone is estimated at $337 billion. This was reported by Perry and Wallace in an article that was titled, "What Are Schools Doing About Career Development?" That's amazing. $337 billion. The United States, for example, has the largest eliminated vocational education as a separate track in secondary schools on the argument that specific skills become obsolete too quickly, and that it is necessary to give people the ability to adapt to technologies. But these craftsmanships have been around for hundreds of years, but the technologies are changing every 6 months. So that argument that the government uses for dropping these vocational skill sets is particularly invalid. Hines and Hirsch claim in an article for New Direction for Youth Development, there's an increasing recognition that prepare youth to be productive members of the workforce and will require coordinating the efforts of primary and secondary schools, out-of-school time programs, workforce development programs, employers, and higher education. 2012 they wrote this, and I don't see that we've progressed that far with it. In the troubled times of today, that we see happening around us all over the world in conflict. North Korea is shooting nuclear bombs or testing nuclear bombs. We recently just attacked Syria with an airstrike. What would happen if all these modern conveniences went away? Technology, lighting, cell phones, gasoline. What would you do? Could you provide shelter for a long winter? Could you make repairs to your home to keep it habitable? Cal Poly came up with an outdoor program called Moving Mountains, which planned, promoted, and selected leaders for the trip. The weekend includes 25 to 40 incoming Cal Poly students, which is a college in California. 10 students were leaders and 2 faculty staff leaders. The following activities were included in the California Sierra Nevada mountains: kayaking, rock climbing, team building, backpacking, and smaller groups of 10 to 12 students and leaders for 3 days. Overnight solos ranged from 18 to 24 hours. Outdoor skill development. Participants learned outdoor skills such as backpacking, cooking, survival, local geography, flora, fauna identification. I know these mountains. I used to go camping there myself. I go for a week at a time. And most people couldn't do that. If you went out into the wilderness, how would you survive? Would you survive? Do you know where to go? How to build protection, shelter for yourself? But in today's world, it's a place of hire someone else to do what I can't do mentality. Today's world has become a place of passiveness and acceptance of lack of ability. Learning skills have become difficult. It's hard to find places to learn skills of survival or handyman work or anything that can assist you in getting by in the world. Furthermore, who can teach you these skills? Is there really that many craftsmen around nowadays? Homes are thrown up in 30 days. I recently watched a video on YouTube because I believe YouTube has replaced a lot of the educational inadequacies that are part of the education system now. And there's a lot of great information out there. But I watched a video on YouTube. It's called The Birth of a Wooden Home. It was a documentary film concerning these men, a few men in Levita. I believe I'm saying it right, Levita. It's over in Europe somewhere. But anyways, these gentlemen dropped their own lumber, milled their lumber, and over 3 summers built a house, complete from the ground up. No power tools, just hand tools, horse, and manpower, woman power. The result was amazing. It's a beautiful house. In the presentation I've given you the link of the home to watch. I encourage you all to watch it. It's a fantastic documentary and I was amazed by it. But there's still no true replacement from learning from a professional. The skills of the craftsmanship that you miss from internet learning, YouTube learning, or what have you, you don't get the full context of everything. Eventually you'll learn it yourself, but it takes a lot of time that way, where if you had the proper guidance, it can increase your skill set that much faster. Without the schools teaching the craftsmen, will we become a society to rely upon mass production, mass retail, and specialists to perform the tasks that we could perform ourselves? Budget cuts that remove the ability for young Americans to gain knowledge, gain the skill, and remove the ability to become craftsmen. I urge you all to find a makerspace. That's a location where these skills can be taught. You may have to join and pay a subscription fee, but it's something that can help you one day. You may learn these skills, and one day you'll gain the skills and hopefully remember this speech as a turning point to your journey as a craftsman. Thank you.